So welcome. We're just going to wait for a few more people to join, and then we will start this evening. Hello, Diane. Hello from KZN.
Hello, Diane.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear us and see us okay?
Let us know if you can.
Just
Yeah.
give us an idea if you can.
Yeah. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. And if you can like and share this satsang with your friends, that would be really good. So if you can do that, that helps get the word out there.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank you. Good. Yes, that's good. Excellent. Let's wait for a few more people. And what's the subject for tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The power of yes.
Mm-hmm.
The power of yes. So those of you who are here, well, you said yes to coming to the satsang. So that's a vital step. The most important part of being in satsang with us is to say yes to the satsang. Yeah, so welcome. So let's start this evening by bringing ourselves into the satsang fully. And we do that by withdrawing our mind from the day's events, from the dramas, and bring ourselves into what we call the vertical plane. Hello, Sonia. Hi. While during our lives, our stories seem so important, and yet when you really ask yourself and are truthful about what it is you really, really, really want, it is peace. It is stillness. And that happens when we disinvest our attention from yesterday and tomorrow and just be here now in this moment. Just here in this moment. Hello, Craig. Hello, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Yeah, hi. So just settle back. You might like to shut your eyes. We always light a candle. And this is your sacred time. This is your time to connect with your inner being. So shutting your eyes, take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Take another soft, slow, deep in-breath right down to your solar plexus, and just gently release the breath. And as you release the breath, sink down deeper into your body, into the chair that you're sitting on. Take a third very deep breath in, long deep breath in. And as you surrender it, just release. Release any stories that you have been attached to during the day today. Just let it go. And what we're doing now is we're creating a space. We're creating a space for newness to enter us. We're wiping away emotional patterns that no longer serve us. And we are coming into direct contact with a great, powerful intelligence. You can call it life. You can call it the divine. You can call it the universe. You might even like to call it God. This divine intelligence right now is in your body. It's not in the stories we tell ourselves. It's not in your thoughts. It's in reality, and your body is real in this moment. This divine intelligence right now in this moment is enabling you to hear. It is the intelligence within your body that allows you to listen to this satsang tonight. The same divine intelligence is beating our hearts right now. A beautiful rhythmic beat of the heart. And if you listen very, very carefully, if you become very still inside, you might be able to pick up the sound of the heart beating in the eardrums, in that it pushes a pressure wave through the eardrums. Let's become quiet and still and see if we can become aware of the beating of our heart in this moment, knowing as we listen that we are not doing it. We're not doing the listening, and we're not doing the beating of the heart. We are the awareness that is listening. And as we softly listen, something opens up inside us. See if you can feel that opening. You find that your ears become more receptive as you soften and still the mind. You find that your heart opens to be more accepting of this present moment here and now, as we allow the stillness of presence into our awareness. We're not going anywhere to fetch peace, to find peace. What we are doing is we are clearing away all that blocks us from the direct perception of presence. And as we do that, so the peace that's already here in this moment emerges fully into our awareness. And we find a softness and a connection to life. And in that connection to life we find a connection to the greater humanity. We find greater empathy, compassion, a greater acceptance. And all of this can be called love. As we clear the mind, so the natural state of being within us emerges more fully into our awareness. And this natural state of being is that which we most desperately seek, which is love. It is love that beats our hearts. As we get out of the way, it is love that digests our food. It is love that oxygenates every cell in our body. It is love that allows creative inspiration to flow into us. And as we allow, and as we open, and as we appreciate this moment exactly as it is, our life ceases to be a struggle. Suffering ends, and peace becomes our purpose. Take another soft, slow, gentle, deep breath in. And a long releasing breath out. And just sit for a moment in the surrendered state, which we call presence. Feeling the body, feeling the aliveness in the body. Just surrendering to the isness of life in this moment, here and now, with a sense of thankfulness, of gratitude for this intelligence that right now is enabling you to hear my voice, that is beating your heart, that is taking care of the millions of metabolic processes in your body right here, right now. Let's just say thank you. Thank you to life. Thank you for the divine, to the divine intelligence. You can call that God if you wish. This is your true being. And we call this presence. Take a deep breath in. And release it. And gently open your eyes and see how you feel in this moment. Do you feel a bit more connected, a bit more present, a bit more at peace? Thank you. Thank you for those who joined when my eyes were closed. Who we got there? Colleen, we've got Paula. Hi.
Hi everyone.
Hi. So this evening we're going to be looking at the power of yes. Power of yes. What's happening in the stars?
A lot.
Are there? Anything we need to know about?
There's a lot of, I mean, I keep saying it sounds like a broken down record, but there's a lot of transformative energy. The male and female planets, Mars and Venus, are right on top of Pluto, which is a planet of transformation. So that's bringing up relationship issues and challenges for some, and maybe some new relationships for people as well. But there's an intensity and kind of a transformative and a healing energy all happening at the same time. But people might be feeling it as quite intense. So, because it's all at the very early degrees of a sign of Aquarius. So it's quite intense. So I think the need to just take time to be is really strong right now. I think a lot of people are feeling quite tired, and I think they're needing some time out. Yeah.
Well, we had a busy day today.
We did. We weren't going to.
We weren't going to, just turn out that way. So yeah,
very busy.
Yeah. And the words of that beautiful song by the Beatles, "Let It Be." Let it be, and that really is letting it be is saying yes to life. So what else is happening?
No, that's about it. I think I can go on for hours, but that's enough for now.
Pluto with the male and female energies. That's probably going to stir up a lot of old emotions and thoughts and experiences and memories that you maybe thought you dealt with in the past, and they're coming back at the moment, because that's the cycle that we're in at the moment. Revisiting, so that we can bring a greater level of awareness and acceptance to that, which leads us into the topic for tonight, the power of yes. So if there are old emotional patterns coming into your awareness, thought patterns for example, revisiting old experiences, most people will, when the thought pattern is traumatic or negative, or the emotion is difficult to deal with, people immediately push it away. And that is a saying no to life. And what we're suggesting tonight is to say yes to life. Accept whatever comes to you, woven in the fabric of this moment. For what more could suit your destiny? I think it was something like Marcus Aurelius said that like 2,000 odd years ago. And
even challenges.
We're going to talk about the difference between internal acceptance and external acceptance. But just try it in this moment. If you have any thoughts or feelings in your body right now in this moment, try just saying yes to them. Say yes. Yes to that anger. Yes to that fear. Yes to that jealousy. Yes to that resentment. Just say yes to it and see how it changes. And when you say no to something, you solidify that which you are saying no to, because what you resist persists. You give energy to it. The moment you say yes to something, it flows through you and doesn't get stuck in you. Doesn't get stuck and doesn't start to embed itself in your emotional body or your physical body. It flows through you.
Now, whenever we say no to something, we're in a state of resistance and closing. And when we say yes, we're opening to other possibilities and to potentials and to creative solutions. And so I think a lot of us don't realize how often we say no to something. And particularly those things that come up, which might be coming up now, with this very deep transformative energy. And you mentioned anger there. Anger is one of the things that could be popping at the moment. So old anger that's been lying under the surface and might have actually gone into depression. Old anger about relationships, about the male-female dynamic, about partnerships, even if it isn't with spouses and loved ones. Other people will be mirrors to our deepest our shadow parts in a way. And so it's easy to say yes to something that's pleasurable and wonderful. That's easy. But can we say yes to something that isn't that easy? Emotions that are coming up that aren't that easy, or somebody or some person in your life that seems to be doing the same thing or not doing the same thing, which seems to be perpetuating a cycle. What is it showing about us? What is it mirroring in me? So I think this Pluto, Mars, Venus is actually the mirror, is how's this person mirroring me in this moment. So yeah, yes is saying open and saying yes to it, and is opening to the experience of it as a teaching experience possibly, and no saying I don't want it, it's pushing it away and closing the door. So then that process can't continue.
Yeah. So if old patterns are coming up to you at the moment, if old situations which you thought you'd buried or put away or locked away or even dealt with fully are coming back into your awareness, either physically or just psychologically, try saying yes to them. And at the same time, be aware of the feelings that they are triggering within you. Now, the important part of saying yes is to realize that the inner world is more important than the outside world from an experiential point of view, because the inner world is your total experience. We don't experience the outside world, we experience the inside world. We think we're experiencing, a rainy day on the outside. We're not. We're experiencing it on the inside. The sound is coming in, the smell's coming in, the sight is coming in, but it's being processed inside us. And that inner processing is generating a feeling. So, for example, if it's a rainy day and you've been through a bit of a drought like we have, then that'll initiate a feeling of joy in you. And then you think it's the rain that's bringing you the joy. Or if you've planned a picnic that day and it's now raining and you're experiencing anger or frustration at the rain. The rain is neutral. It's just raining. That's all it's doing. The rain is not giving you the joy and it's not giving you the anger. That's an internal process of processing external events through a certain prism of perception, of expectation, of wants, and then generating a certain feeling inside you. Now, let's just use two words here, and you tell me which word best takes you into a place of peace, a place of stillness, a place of love. Does the word no or the word yes take you to that place? And which place do you really want to live from? A place of inner resistance or inner acceptance? These are questions which we don't often ask ourselves. And to realize that we are the creator 100% of our internal environment. 100%. It's not the mother-in-law, it's your thoughts about the mother-in-law. It's not the weather, it's your thoughts about the weather. It's not the government, yes, it is the government.
Yeah, so it's a really big subject actually, because we don't realize. I think it's a good time to just see how much we say no to. We might not say it out loud, but how many times in a day something happens which the voice in our head tells us shouldn't be happening. So this person that's standing in front of me shouldn't be doing this, because he or she should be doing that rather. Or this situation shouldn't be like this. I shouldn't be like this. So in every time we go into that state, we're actually saying no to life. And so can we turn it around and say, this is happening because it should be happening? So it's raining. That's it. It's raining. Yes, I'm saying yes to the rain. You might not like the rain, you might not be happy about it, but you're not closing yourself off to it. You're not saying, it shouldn't be raining. This person shouldn't be saying this to me. Oh, this person's saying this to me. Yes, this person's saying this to me. And then stop there without going into a story about it.
Yeah, when you're in a state of yes to life, as it is in this moment, you're in a far better position to respond rather than to react.
Yeah.
When we say no to life, generally it's a reaction to external stimuli. And there's no conscious thought or no conscious processing of information in the here and now to that. It's normally old patterns that are being reacted to, old expectations, old experiences. But when we say yes to just this moment, that's all. We're not saying yes to yesterday or yes to tomorrow. We're just saying yes to this moment in the present moment. That puts us in a heightened state of intelligence and enables us then to respond in a more, to use a Buddhist term, more mindful way, a more conscious way, to respond in a way that's going to benefit this situation more than that old reactive no, pushing away, protection. It's to remember that what is real needs no protection. So the moment we are protecting ourselves from the world out there, we are buying into an old paradigm of thought, that I'm vulnerable, that I'm small, that I am in need of protection. When we're in a state of yes, it's an openness, it's a vulnerability, yes, but at the same time, it's a recognition of the infinite power within us, the power of life, the power of presence. So we're saying yes to life. Now, just to clarify, we're not saying that you have to verbalize yes. If you're being asked to do something that you really don't want to do, you can say, no, I prefer not to do that, or not today. You can verbalize your preference, but we're talking about the power of yes is an internal power. It's here within us. And that internal power of yes opens us up to the power of life itself, to the power of love itself, to the power of being itself. And that even that other three-letter word which we don't use very much, God. To say yes to life is to say yes to God. Yes, and then in that moment we can choose the direction we want to walk in. We can choose how to respond in that moment. To say, someone's offering you drugs, you don't have to say, yes, John and Michelle told me to say yes, let me take the drugs. No, we're not saying that. Yes, they are offering me drugs. They have drugs, they're offering it to me. Yes, this is what's happening in this moment. Not, you shouldn't be.
Because you are.
Because it is, you are. If someone speaks badly to you, for example, the ego, which needs protection, say, don't speak to me like that. There's a protection. I need protection. Don't speak, because I don't want you to create the feeling inside me that you speaking to me like that is creating. But you're missing the point. The point is that they're just saying words. You're interpreting those words and creating an internal feeling in you. You're the creator of the feeling, not them. And when we say yes, they are saying those things which are uncomfortable to me in that moment. Then they pass through you. Those words don't get stuck in you. They don't start to rule you. They don't take you in a spiral, an emotional spiral downwards. They're just words. They pass through you. But in that moment, you can then choose how to respond. Say, it would be better, when you said those words, my initial feeling was X, Y, Z. You're not telling them to stop it, but you're saying, this is how it initially made me feel. There's a yesness to life. There's
an internal, you might say no to something, but you're not. You haven't got an internal resistance to what's happening. It's a little bit different from. So somebody says something to you, you accept. Yes, they're saying this to me. Yes, they're doing this. Yes, this person's angry, or yes, this person's being unfair. Yes, this is happening, but I'm not going to build a resistance to the whole thing, go into a story about it. Yes, this is happening, and no, I'm not going to do this that you've suggested. But it's not an internal pushing away. It's quite subtle though, isn't it?
It is. It's a very subtle but very profound. Most truth comes in subtle changes in our lives. And this is a very subtle change, but it will have such major rewards in the way you experience life. It will take you out of suffering. I mean, isn't that worth doing it for? To take you out of suffering? Because when we say no, internal no, there's always suffering, there's always pain associated with that no. When we say yes, there's an opening, and we go into the space that we experienced right in the beginning when we did that opening meditation, spaciousness. Now, space doesn't need protection, doesn't need to be defended. It needs to be opened to. And at the opening to space, we find what space has. And what space contains is that which the heart seeks. For example, love or peace or joy. It's all contained in the space. In my meditation this morning, it just came to me so strongly that these things just drop in. It doesn't come as a thought process, but it just drops in. The fact that for the human person, love is very much associated with thingnesses. In other words, objects. We love another person because they are a thingness. Or we love whatever, our dog or our cat, or the ice cream or the chocolate cake, or that delicious cheesecake that we had yesterday. Thank you to those visitors who brought us that beautiful cheesecake yesterday. Yeah. And we attach the love to the thingness. And in meditation, it was so strong that is always a transitory experience of love, because you get given this beautiful cheesecake, you eat it and it's gone. Or you have this person, this partner, and within a certain number of time, certain number of days, years, whatever, that relationship ends. Everything that appears in time will dissipate in time. Everything, as Eckhart gave a whole talk on, even the sun will die. So everythingness dies. Now, we are, all of us, most of us, are looking for eternal love. And when you attach love to a thingness, it's not eternal. It's transitory. But what isn't transitory is the space, the emptiness, the isness of life itself, which is always presence. And when you say yes to the space, which is always here in this moment, you connect directly with eternal love. That's what we do in this moment. So, for example, you're in a relationship and your partner starts saying things which are really uncomfortable, and you really don't, you wish they weren't saying them. Internally, one can put up boundaries and resist that and turn away from love. Or what you can do is say, yes, they are saying these things. And if they're nasty things, just know that they're coming not from their consciousness, not from their eternal being. They're coming from their finite personality self, their vulnerable self, their hurting self, their traumatized self, their egoic mind that needs protection. And if you hold the space, if you, in that moment, you pay more attention to the space, your heart opens. And that's what love is. Love is saying yes to space, to emptiness. And that's the connection that we have direct access to in each and every moment, to eternal love. So saying yes to life takes us into the space of eternal love.
Yeah, I think it's also, especially in relationship, because of this relationship stuff's coming up a lot, is that, you know, as somebody is actually saying something to you which is uncomfortable, to see, as John said, that person is usually, if it's a reactive thing, if it's an angry response or an unfair response or whatever it is, it's usually coming from a place of fear of some kind. Lying underneath anger is usually hurt and fear. So if you can see that, if you can open to that and see what maybe what's underlying the reaction, you can actually say to yourself, this person's fearful, or this person's angry. And we're having a chat to some people today, and then you can add the 3 words afterwards, just like me. It's life-changing, that, because as soon as you have a trigger from somebody else and you see them as being angry or out of line or critical or whatever it is, and you use the 3 words afterwards, just like me, immediately it's actually putting you into some kind of understanding or some kind of rapport with that person, because on some level you've had that before as well. And so there's a yes there in that moment. There's a yes. I see this. I see that this isn't the big infinite you. This is the little scared you that's relating like this. And when you're in that state, you're opening your heart and you're saying yes to the situation and to the person. And there's healing in that. Whereas when there's resistance, this person shouldn't be doing this, it's wrong, there's resistance, there's a no. I mean, even our hand movements, when you say yes, you do this, and when you say no, you do that. You can feel energetically what it does. No pushes it away. Shouldn't be happening. Block. Yes, this is happening. And it's teaching me something. Otherwise it wouldn't be happening. So there's a yes, even if it's not to the situation, there's a yes to, this is a teaching moment for me. Possibly. Usually is.
Yeah. And just remember that we're not saying yes to the external world, we're saying yes to an internal world. And we're saying yes ultimately to life. We're saying yes to life. And the moment we start saying yes to life, that is the end of suffering. And as we end suffering within us, we start to dissipate it in the world that we meet on the outside. So if it is peace that we want to experience in the external world, let's start saying yes to life on the inside here. Because the outside is a reflection of a collective internal environment that we have in the human experience collectively created for ourselves.
Isn't it also about saying yes to ourselves? So very often we are, the no that's coming out of us is from a no that's inside of us. So there's a no, there's an internal no to ourselves. There's a lack of love for ourselves. There's an anger in ourselves. And that's coming out as the no. So can we say yes to ourselves? This is arising in me right now. I'm saying yes to it. This is a feeling that's arising. I'm saying yes to this feeling because it's arising. And can I work with the feeling? Can I let it pass through me? Hopefully without reacting it or projecting it onto someone else. But can I say yes to it rather than push it away, push it underneath? So it's got to start with saying yes to ourselves, and then that will open the door to saying yes to whatever's outside of us.
Yeah, it's a matter of insanity, madness versus sanity. It is insane to say no to what already is, because it is. Just think about that. To say no to what has already appeared in the physical realm is an act of insanity, because it is. So just say yes. This is happening right now, or this did happen right here, right now. Say yes to life. That makes you more sane. It clears the mind, because sanity is only a function of presence. You can't find sanity in the past or in the future. To be sane, to be conscious, means that you are present. And yes takes you into presence. No generally takes you into stories.
Yeah.
Stories of self-preservation or self-recrimination, but it takes you into story, where yes brings you into alignment with life. As Eckhart says, it's one with life. One with life. Owl. Very wise. Wise. Wisdom is to be found not in the mind but in presence, in opening yourself up to life in this moment. That allows wisdom to flow through us in that moment. It allows life to flow through us. It allows love to flow through us when we are in an open, receptive state to life. So just remember that we always, the yes that we're speaking about here is a yes to life. And whatever life is presenting you with in this moment, you're being mugged on a street corner. Yes, I'm being mugged on a street corner. I'm not saying yes to the mugger. I'm saying yes to life. This is the experience that life deemed most fit for me to experience in this moment. Now I need to practice my karate or my jiu-jitsu
or my running skills.
And that's perfect and that's beautiful. But the first thing is the acceptance to what life is giving you in this moment.
That's happened to you. That's happened to you. You were mugged twice.
Yeah, and I said yes to the situation. Yeah. And I came out of it pretty good. Pretty good. The one guy even gave me back my wallet. I mean, how about that? Because I said yes. So, yeah, we can create magic in our lives. We can create miracles. We can open the portal for miracles to flow through us when we say yes to the present moment instead of saying no to it. This is the power of yes. There is a huge power in that, because what we're doing is we're accepting life and we're accepting the gift of life. And we can even say thank you.
And I think if we all look back on our lives at the times that we've suffered the most, when we've been at our lowest ebb, and all of us have been there at some point, you'll find that you were in denial or resistance to life. You were saying to yourself, this shouldn't have happened. This person shouldn't have left me. I shouldn't have got sick. I shouldn't have broken a bone. I shouldn't be in hospital. This person shouldn't have died. I shouldn't be living in this place. Those are the stories that go round when we're in suffering. So what's the opposite of that? So say, no, this is where I am. Yes, I'm saying yes to this. And also I think yes is a very creative word. It's a creative energy, because no, you're closing the door on something and curtailing something. You're giving it a full stop, whereas yes is like a comma. There's something after, or there's a question mark there. And if there's a yes or a no, if someone asks you something and you say, I'm not sure, yes or no, then there's an opening to a yes, because otherwise it would be a straight definitely not. But if there's a little bit of an opening, it's very often then followed by closing, because there's a little bit of fear about the opening, because it's something new and it's going to stretch you, and you know that. So then the tendency is to just say, no, I don't do that. Whereas there's actually possibly a possibility there that you can stretch through that experience by saying yes to it. By literally saying, yes, bring it on, bring on the experience. I'll grow through it at the very least. I remember years ago I had a client, he was a young chap, I think he was 18 or so, and he said to me he had always felt himself to be a bit of a nerd, and he was always nervous to speak to girls because they might say no, or they might reject him and be nasty to him. And he said one day, this is at the great old age of like 18, he said, one day I just decided I'd had enough of that, and so I decided to approach a girl and say hi to her, and I decided that even if she said no to me and she didn't want to talk to me, that it would be okay, because I would have faced my fear and said yes to what I wanted to say to her and to approach her. Even if she said no, I would have grown. I would have stretched myself. And I thought that was so incredibly wise from an 18-year-old to have got to the point where, and I mean, if he carried that through his life, it would have been amazing, because
He probably did.
he probably did,
Probably
because
did,
he really
yeah.
got it. And he said,
Yeah.
and it did happen, and I did go and speak to a girl, and I did say hi to her, and she did say no, and I did walk away and thought, it's fine. I did what I needed to do. I said yes to that instinct, and I went and approached her, and it's okay that she said no, because I've grown. I've stretched myself. And this life, this evolutionary experience that we're having on earth is one where we're growing. So if we get into experiences that challenge us and shift us and stretch us and grow us, as uncomfortable as it is, that's where we're growing. That's where the growth is. We don't generally grow sitting cocktails on a beach in Mauritius. That's a rest time, which is wonderful. But we grow through the difficult times, where we have to stretch ourselves. And we have to say, okay, how do I deal with this? Can I say yes to this? Am I growing through this? Yes, you're growing through this. If it's happening, you're growing through it. It's an opportunity to grow and evolve. And that's what we're doing here. So this astrological alignment is, this Pluto moving into Aquarius is an evolutionary shift. So it's going to show us these old familiar patterns, these old ruts in our consciousness, which we keep going around and around and around, and we get so tired of it, like that chap, the 18-year-old who said, nah, he's not going to do this anymore. He's done with that pattern.
Yeah, I remember when Byron Katie was talking about, and if you know Byron Katie, that amazing teacher, if you don't, look her up on the internet, because
She's brilliant.
amazing. And I mean, she was depressed most of her life, in and out of psychiatric wards, and she had electroshock therapy about 5 times, and she was in a dreadful state. And eventually one day she just lay in the gutter or whatever it was and just said, I surrender. I absolutely surrender. In that moment she said yes 100% to life. And everything changed for her. The depression lifted and she became what we would call enlightened.
Well,
And she's an amazing, amazing teacher. Eckhart as well was told to surrender. In other words, to say yes. And that was his enlightenment as well. So by saying yes, we are dissipating fear. You mentioned fear earlier. And fear is the acronym we use, false evidence appearing real. In other words, there's an illusion there of self-preservation, that we think by saying no we're going to actually protect ourselves, but we actually imprison ourselves. By saying yes, we open ourselves to life. We become vulnerable. We're talking about an internal world here. And as we say yes to that, we actually reconnect to the infinite power of life within us. That part that is inviolate, that part that is eternal. That's the part we connect with when we say yes to life in this moment. And that's the power of yes. And it creates miracles, and it creates massive transformation, not only for yourself but for the world that you meet on the outside. Saying yes to the world. Just remember, no strengthens the ego. Yes dissolves the barriers that we have created around ourselves to life itself. And then you start to experience the full depth of life, the joy of life, the abundance of life, when we start to say yes to life. And I remember a number of years ago going through the death of my last partner, and I knew in that moment I had a choice. I could say no and build up huge resistance within me to the process of death, or to say yes. I chose to say yes. And not that I didn't feel the grief, I did, but I didn't suffer. Not one moment did I suffer through that. And so that is the power of yes.
Now, life gives us that opportunity over and over again. I mean, as we go through different life transitions, as we start aging, are we going to say yes to aging or no to aging? That's a biggie, you know. You see people who are elderly and they're saying yes to it, and they're dealing with it so beautifully and so gracefully, as opposed to, I shouldn't be aging, you know, I should look like I did when I was 20 or 30. That's saying no to life. It's saying no to the process of life. It's like a tree trying to hang on to its leaves in autumn. It doesn't do that. It allows the leaves to fall off. And so it goes right through our lives, really, saying yes to whatever is presenting. And I think in our media and in the way the world has become so conditioned to value, for example, in that example, youth. You know, you're valued when you're youthful and young and you look, you know, beautiful. Can you still be valuable when you get older? Yes, but it's in a different way. So can you say yes to that unfolding? Because that's a big unfolding when you get over a certain age. And there's different life transitions where we have to go through that. So can we say yes?
Well, you're saying yes to life, and you're recognizing that underneath the form is life. Life is always here. Life doesn't get old. The form that life takes has a birth and a middle and a death. But life itself doesn't do that at all. So when we say yes, we're saying yes to life, to the eternal. That's what we're saying yes to. Not to the form, but to the formless.
Yeah.
And the only reality we ever truly experience is the inner world, the inner reality here. And saying yes opens us up to direct connection to the joy of life. And that is our life purpose, I believe.
You're almost saying yes to change as well, and yes to transition.
Yeah.
Because everything's changing all the time. And a lot of the resistance that we feel is the resistance to change.
Yeah.
This should not be happening so fast. Or this person shouldn't be leaving or dying, or I shouldn't be getting older, whatever it is. And that is life. That is the life journey. So can we say yes to change? To ongoing change, because it's going to keep going like that. So to say no to it is crazy, because it's going to keep going. It's going to keep changing no matter what you resist.
And the secret is not to attach any sense of self to the world of change, to the world of form, to the world of things. That's the secret of living a really joyful, creative, happy and abundant life. So I think we've reached the end of this evening.
I think so.
You're going to lead us.
A card.
Oh yes, let's do a card. Let's say yes to an affirmation
card.
Say yes
to an affirmation card.
Okay, we've got a whole lot of cards here, and Michelle, without looking, is going to select one of the cards. There they all are. A yellow card. A yellow.
Oh, pretty
My
much.
goodness me. That's a lovely card. So Michelle will share the affirmation card in the meditation. Okay. And it's very apt for tonight.
Okay. So just closing your eyes, sitting back in your chair, wherever that may be, or on your bed, or lying down. Taking a long, deep breath in. And then a beautiful, relaxing out breath. Just letting all the air go. And another beautiful deep breath in as you expand your belly, breathing in through your belly, bringing the air all the way up, and then letting the air out, breathing it out, long, slow out breath. And as we breathe out for longer than we breathe in, we relax the parasympathetic nervous system. We start to drop into this quiet place. The noise of the outside world starts to get a little softer. And we start to just connect with this present moment. And just notice the breath. You're not trying to force it, you're not trying to change it. You're just noticing it as it comes in and out. Allowing yourself to just be breathed by life. You're not having to do anything. You're not having to change anything. Notice any sensations in your body. And as you bring awareness to those sensations, see if you can breathe into them and just completely accept them as they are. So say yes to any sensations. There might be a pain, there might be a tightness, there might be some kind of restriction. Can you just in this moment say yes and consciously open to it? And now noticing any thoughts that might be swirling around in your consciousness. Noticing them as the observer. Can you just allow them to be there? Without judgment, without trying to even chase them away. Can you just acknowledge them and say, yes, I have some thoughts running through me. And breathing out. And allowing what is arising in this moment to arise. Allow any feelings that might be arising in you. In this moment, anything that's coming up for you. Maybe any emotion, anything at all. Can you open to this and just say yes to it? Yes, this feeling is arriving and this feeling can be here. Allowing yourself to just drop into this place of openness and surrender. Allow your body to demonstrate that openness. So open your hands so they're resting open wherever they are. Put your shoulders back just a little bit so your heart is more open. Allow a wave of softness to move all the way down you, as if it could open up your cells, open up your energy body, your emotional body, your mental body, your physical body. Open up the channel from the divine, so you're an open channel for wisdom, insight, intuition, knowingness. Just feeling what it feels like in this moment. Our affirmation card tonight is I surrender to life right now in this present moment. So really feel that in your body, in your being. As you breathe out, I surrender to life right now in this present moment. Surrendering to what is. Being fully present, fully aware, and fully allowing whatever is arising. I surrender to life right now in this present moment. And setting an intention as we move into the week tomorrow to carry this energy with you. Maybe use this affirmation throughout the week. When you find yourself going into resistance, if you find yourself going into resistance, if you find yourself about to say no to something, block it. See if you can just in that moment Lean back into it, open to it, and repeat this affirmation: I surrender to life right now, in this moment. And taking a deep breath in, and a beautiful out breath. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank
That was
you.
really beautiful. Thank you, folks. I'll put a copy of this affirmation card up on Facebook below this as soon as we finish tonight. And you have a beautiful, wonderful week ahead, saying yes, the internal yes, and then let us know how it goes. Love to hear from you. Lots of love. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Yes.